go, go, go! Let's do this.
Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is GamingWithSal and welcome back to the channel. So now that the Modern Warfare beta has come to a close, I can finally go ahead and sit back and gather all my thoughts about how I felt about it and how I felt about the game and just the way it played out this past weekend. And just to give you guys an overall quick answer to that question of what I thought about the beta, I would say it was kinda eh. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. And I'm sure most of you guys weren't expecting that answer from me. You probably thought that I was going to be absolutely blown away by the beta or that I really enjoyed it. And I'm not gonna lie, later on towards the end, I started enjoying it a little bit more, but overall, I was not having as much fun as I really thought I was going to have. And once again, you guys, I'm gonna keep it 100% honest in this. I do really like Call of Duty a lot, as you guys can see by my channel. And I've been playing Call of Duty ever since Modern Warfare 2, which was literally 10 years ago. So I have 10 years worth of Call of Duty playtime experience, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But the point is that from a long-time Call of Duty fan, I am kind of disappointed when it comes down to this beta. Now, the good thing is that Infinity Ward did put this beta out so they can hear our feedback and try to make improvements for the game so that when it comes out on October 25th, we don't face as many issues as we did for this past weekend. So with that said, let me go ahead and talk about some of the things that I briefly liked about the game, but then also some of the things that really turned me off to the point where I kind of wanted to stop playing, to be honest. Now, when it comes down to the good things about this game, they're pretty obvious, right? The quality of the audio and the visuals of the game are really top notch. Like, when it comes down to these two categories, Modern Warfare hands down has done the best job in a long time. Like Black Ops 4, World War II, those games don't even compare to Modern Warfare when it comes down to, like I said, the audio and the visuals of the game. Now, when it comes down to the weapons, they're solid. They actually feel mean. They feel like they have some kick and power to them, right? And they're actually very satisfying to use whenever you actually get the kill on your enemies. So that's another big plus in my book. And then when it comes down to small things like the kill streaks and little features such as being able to edit your class within the game, those are a big plus in my book. I mean, I've been advocating for strong kill streaks for such a long time, and for once when I'm playing the beta, I don't have those moments where I'm like, okay, you know what, the streaks are useless. No, in fact, the streaks are very useful in this game, which is something that, like I said, I've been asking for a long time, and I'm super glad that that came to the game after so many years of asking for it, right? So when it comes down to these smaller features, they're, like I said, a welcomed addition to the game. Now, like I said earlier, it's not all rainbows and sunshine when it comes down to this beta. There's a lot of things that are wrong with it that I do want to go ahead and address in this video, just in case Infinity Ward might be watching, and just to kind of voice some of our opinions out there, because I'm sure most of you guys who got your hands on the beta can agree with me on most of the things that I'm about to talk about. So one of the main things that I do want to discuss is how the UAV is a crutch streak and how the Ghost perk is actually also a crutch when it comes down to the perk 2 slot. Now, I went into more detail about this in a separate video that I've already made, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I highly recommend you go ahead and do so if you're interested in my thoughts about that. But just to make it very brief when it comes down to this video, because of the fact that we don't have a traditional minimap, these two aspects of the game are very important to the point where if you're not using them, then you're at a serious disadvantage. Like, I remember if I wasn't running Ghost, I was getting owned left and right, but the moment I decided to use this perk and be hidden from all those UAV spams, I was significantly doing better, and that's something that I really don't want happening in this game. I want to be able to have the freedom of being able to choose whatever perk or attachment or streak that I want to use without feeling like I'm at a huge disadvantage because I'm not using something specific that I really need to. Another thing are the spawns. You guys, I can't tell you how many times I've spawned in and then immediately got taken out because I spawned in either right in front of an enemy or right beside them or right into their spawn where there's like 2 or 3 of them and there's no way I can win those gunfights. And I've even seen people spawn right in front of me, which I'm not gonna lie, I won't complain about that because those are free easy kills, but at the same time, it's not fair. It's not enjoyable whatsoever when that keeps happening to you every single match from time to time within the same matches sometimes. So, you know, like at the end of the day, the spawns really do need to be fixed. Infinity Ward did go ahead and confirm that the spawns are a little broken when it comes down to some of the maps, and they are looking into that. So that is a huge plus in my book in the sense that at least they acknowledged it, right? If they didn't, then I would be super worried because this is kind of ruining like the flow of the maps a little bit. And nothing is more annoying than bad spawns, in my opinion at least. Now, another thing that I really don't like is that I feel like when it comes down to the way the game was designed and the way it is in its current state, people who like to rush or play aggressively are severely punished. Like, when it comes down to the sprint out speed for some of these weapons, they're atrocious. Like, I know for a fact that when it comes down to something like the AK-47, I don't want to use it half the times just because of how long it takes to aim down my sight as soon as I'm coming out of a sprint. It's way too annoying. And on top of that, when it comes down to something like the SMGs and the shotguns, those weapons seriously need a buff, which leads me into the next thing, and that is weapon balance. I feel like that when it comes down to the assault rifles, they dominate all of the other weapon categories. I mean, I'm not really sure about LMGs too much because I'll be honest, I didn't use it that much in this beta just because I had a feeling that if something like the AK-47 has a very bad sprint out time, then I can't even imagine how the LMGs are. But like I said, from the way I experienced the game, the assault rifles are way too powerful, especially when it comes down to the M4A1 and the M13. The M13 is just ridiculously good. Like, I'm not saying we need to nerf these things. No, if anything, buff the rest of the weapons. No nerfing. Just keep buffing everything else up to where everything is on par with each other. Do not nerf anything Infinity Ward. That is the mistake that a lot of past developers have made and have caused players to get really frustrated. So please don't do that. Just buff the other weapons and make everything else more powerful. Okay, so for this one, it's not really that serious, but trust me, it's way too annoying. And that is the spawn delays in matches such as Team Deathmatch, Domination. Right after you get taken out, you have this little animation where it shows you like the overall view of the map, and then it takes like 2 seconds for you to come right back in. Can we just have a feature where that still is in the game? Because I know they probably worked hard to put that into the beta, but have it where if we press square or, you know, whatever button there is to respawn in, that it skips that entire animation altogether and we just automatically get thrown into the match instantly, like how we have been able to do for past Call of Duty games. Like I said, this isn't really a serious issue, but it's something that surprisingly annoyed me more than I expected. Like, I don't know if you guys know another YouTuber by the name of 402 Thunder 402, but his video was hilarious because every single time he got taken out, he would just rage just because of the fact that he couldn't spawn right back in and would just keep telling the game like, spawn me back in, and deep down I was like, man, I feel you, bro, you know? So hopefully they go ahead and fix that and make it to where we can just instantly spawn right back into the match after we get taken out by an enemy. And speaking of enemies, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like when they go into these buildings and look out these windows, is it just me or do they blend in way too easily? I mean, when it comes down to that one map called, I think, Granza Raid, it was a 10v10 map. A lot of those buildings, whenever enemies are inside of them, I could barely tell they're ever there. Like, I remember playing games like World War II and Black Ops 4, and anytime I see somebody up in a window or up in a building, I'm able to easily spot them moving, and just because of the way that the lighting worked in those games, like I said, it was just very easy to spot them. But here in Modern Warfare, I feel like they blend right in. Like, I don't know if it's just the color scheme or the lighting of some of the rooms and some of the buildings, but these enemies, you can't even see them half the times just staring at you out of a window, which is a huge problem when it comes down to the whole idea of campers versus rushers. You know, like the campers are basically getting a huge advantage in this game because of that. And I'm sure that Infinity Ward will work on this because they did talk about something along the lines of lighting and how they need to work with it. So hopefully they are referring to this as well. But if in case they aren't, put this on your to-do list, Infinity Ward, trust me. And then one more main thing that really was a pet peeve to me personally that I didn't see in the game that should have been in the game is how to check your connection. Every single past Call of Duty game, like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, all you have to do is just press the scoreboard and it shows your connection meter right next to your name to let you know if whether or not you're the one who's lagging out or if like something else is going on, because in this game there's no way to tell. You can't even go into the settings like you could in Black Ops 4 and check your connection that way. There's absolutely no way to do that. And once again, this is a beta, so maybe they forgot to leave that feature in here, or maybe they're just going to put that in the final game, who knows, but that needs to be something that's there so that players know exactly how well their connection is when playing the game. I feel like that's very important when it comes down to any sort of first-person shooter, so it should definitely be one of the top priorities for Infinity Ward when it comes down to this game. And other than that, those are some of the main things that are really bothering me about this game. There are very little things such as, you know, whenever you pull up the scoreboard, you accidentally press square, which then accidentally opens up either your profile or the player's profile that you're currently looking at on the scoreboard, and then that basically puts you in this position where you might get stuck for like a good 30 seconds, maybe even up until a minute. Or the fact that some of these announcers aren't really as energetic as past games like Modern Warfare 2. I know that might be a very minor one. Like, you know, when it comes down to something like the VTOL jet coming in, like I want them to be able to like feel frightened, you know, like enemy VTOL incoming, you know, something like that. Instead they're like enemy VTOL incoming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, small things like that are something I wished that were part of the game but aren't. So I'm not really too worried about that. But overall, you guys, the way I felt about this beta is that there's no flow to the map. There's no flow to the way the game plays because of, like I said, the spawns, the camping, due to the fact that these enemies blend in too quickly, the mini map, you know, not showing red dots, or the fact that the mini map isn't there like how it wasn't during day 1 and day 2 of the beta. So overall, when it comes down to this past weekend, I say it was kind of a mess in the sense of how this beta came out in the state that it did. Who knows, maybe they might make all these different changes for even weekend 2 to where some of these problems can be fixed, and maybe weekend 2 can be way more enjoyable than weekend 1. But if I were to rate this entire weekend's worth of the beta, I would probably give it like maybe a 6 out of 10 max, just because there was a lot of times that I felt frustrated, and you know, because of these issues, I felt like I had to play super tactically, and I felt like this was honestly one of the most sweatiest CODs I've played in such a long time. And I don't mean by sweaty like Black Ops 4 where everybody's jumping all over the place and try-harding. If anything, this is the complete opposite, where you have to play super tactically and feel like you're actually on the battlefield in real life, when in actuality this is just a video game. It should feel casual. It should feel like an arcade shooter, not like, you know, something like Rainbow Six Siege or Battlefield. I mean, those games are out there for a reason. This is Call of Duty. It needs to feel like an arcade shooter that someone can pick up and casually play and not have to try too hard in. I don't know, that's just how I feel. Maybe it's because I've been a long time Call of Duty fan and that's just how it used to be back in the good old days. But anyways, you guys, these are my thoughts about the beta and my constructive criticisms that I have for Infinity Ward. Hopefully some of these issues can be fixed at least by weekend 2 of the beta, if not definitely before the game launches. If you guys got to go ahead and play Modern Warfare this past weekend, let me know what you guys think about the beta yourselves. What did you like, dislike about it? And if you guys haven't gotten to play it yet, are you guys excited to be able to get your hands on it for weekend 2? I would love to hear your thoughts all in the comment section below if you guys want to go ahead and share them. But with that said, that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video. So if you guys enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links will always be in the description below, and we'll go ahead and talk to you guys in the next one. So take care of yourselves and bye.